Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another stream. Big up your damn selves in the building. As always, listen, we have to get straight into this because there's breaking news going about at the moment in regards to Chelsea. And of course, on top of that, there's been breaking news for other clubs. But big up everybody inside the chat. Where do we start with this? Listen, because I have to say, the news is flying around right now. And it's not on Caicedo. And I need it to be on Caicedo in terms of incomings. I know. And listen, we're gonna watch this new Brazilian starlet from Santos that we're tracking, right? But my goodness, how many left-footed right wingers are we going to sign? It is insane. This stat pad is truly, hopefully tremendous, but you know, we don't know about the kid, how talented he is. We'll have to have a Brazilian expert on to really get into the deep depths of how good the talent is. But we just can't stop. We just can't stop. This 20 to 16 years old range, we just seem to be on going for every single talent there is. It's crazy. I don't know how many more we're gonna. I don't know if there's rules how many more you can sign really before it starts to get out of hand. I'm looking for Caicedo news personally. That's what I'm really looking for. We're gonna see just how good this kid is. We're gonna watch some comps together, etc., and try to determine what's going on. According to reports, it's a 15 million deal that is going to be constructed, and most likely will then go out on loan, maybe to one of our feeder clubs. Could be Strasbourg, but also we know that Todd Boehly has got a keen interest in purchasing a Portuguese team, and that will help these Brazilian talents, these South American talents, acclimatize to European football a lot more than any other country. You'd say the Portuguese league would be a good first step for them in terms of getting used to European football. So, you know, that 15, not 50, 15. If it was 50 million, then this would be a different stream, 15 million. Now, that's not a lot of money, but when you add it up, 15, 20, 50, and I did this before, right? We did this with Carney. We did this with Cassidy as well. Last summer, when you add up these 15, 20, 10 millions, it amounts to quite a lot. So it sounds cheap, and I guess it is cheap in isolation. But when you actually start to put it all together, then it becomes a lot. And that's when you look for return. That's when you look for either resale value or you look for them breaking into the first team. It's no good to spend 10, 15, 20 million 3 or 4 or 5 times and then have nothing to show for it. There has to be an end result. Either you make a profit on the player in a sale in 3-4 years time after loaning them out to all of these feeder groups in this Blues Co empire that we're building, or they break into the first team and they provide some sort of service to the first team and the football club. So listen, we're gonna go through those comps in later on in the stream, but it's insane how many talents we seem to be going for at once, even when the first team is still not formally finished and sorted. Now, I don't know what our budget is really for this window. We have to get that money in terms of sales just purely for squad. Numbers wise, we've got too many players. This kid's 18 years old. He ain't going to be a first team player. I'd love to know what our transfer budget is after spending almost 600 million, obviously over the last year or so. Now, it's cheap in today's market. Endrick cost a lot of money, but again, it depends on the talent. I can't judge whether or not if this is a bargain when I haven't even seen what the player even looks like in terms of the talent. But yeah, he'll probably go to the feeder club and we'll go from there. Now, that's not the only breaking news. Fabrizio has also put out, that really is the true breaking news. Mason Mount face-to-face talks, I guess, is breaking news as well in its own right, because Manchester United initially said that they wasn't going to meet us face-to-face. They didn't really feel like they needed to. Now it's come out that they will meet us face-to-face. For me, if these two parties are meeting each other face-to-face, this deal has to be getting done. There's absolutely, this is no longer a situation of us trying to outprice Mason Mount from the market, overprice him, which we may have actually done really to begin with. But again, negotiations, we're trying to get our bread, which is fair enough. Manchester United have always shown that they're ready to splash. But if you're meeting face-to-face, the outcome of that face-to-face, if you really want to sell Mason Mount, then you're going to get it done in that face-to-face talks. You're going to come to an agreement. When we flew over to Portugal on deadline day to get the Enzo Fernandez deal done, we didn't leave Portugal without that man. We did not leave Portugal without Rui Costa, settling for the demand. And, you know, we got the player, we brought him home, and that was deadline day. If we really want to get a deal done, this board have shown they can get the deal done. Whether or not they'll get caught up in antics like we saw in the first summer, yes, there was a learning curve, but they can get deals done if they want to. Now, for me, Man United's interest is serious. Personal terms, whether they're agreed or not, I don't think it's going to be a stumbling block, even if it isn't formally agreed according to some parties, but, you know, reportedly it is. The main situation is getting the bid done. Now, Man United only want to pay 55 million. Personally, for me, with as crazy as this situation is, right, in terms of the frenzy on social media, the toxicity with the fan base, Mason Mount, the PR from both sides, the club, the player, the different reports, even from the same journalist, Matt Law gave us 2 contrasting, conflicting reports. I'm at a point now with Mason Mount, even though you guys know on this channel, I was happy and wanted to keep Mason Mount over other players because I feel like 1 bad year as opposed to 3 good years, you know, obviously, logically for me, I see that as he's still recoverable. You can still recover him, you know, we can still revive him. Pochettino could get something out of him. But at this point, I take the 55 million, man. I just want this situation wrapped up and done. He's not one of those Eden Hazard, you know, generational, you know, once in a lifetime player where I'm going to be, you know, pissing around over this. Who said this? She said, he said, you know, who's right, who's wrong, who's putting out this brief in PR. At this point, I'm not asked. I just want this all to end so we can focus on preseason. Preseason starts very soon. Listen, we won't know the truth until the documentary comes out on Netflix in 20 years' time. By then, I'll be an old man. Right now, I know that I need my preseason a serious one. Not any, even people saying, listen, Mason Mount could stay for next season and potentially could still sign a new extension during the season if he gets used to Poch and all that. But the sheer noise around Mason Mount's name, the sheer press conference of questions constantly, you know, Mason Mount's future, Pochettino, what do you think? The fan base on Twitter, on socials, Mason Mount, all season long. It's not worth it for me. I can't lie. It's not worth it for me. As much as I like the player, as much as I think the player is better than what the last 18 months has shown, as much as I think he's recoverable, he's not that guy for me. He's not a player that you build the team around. He's a player that can fit into a system, give him instruction, and he can follow. He can be good for you tactically. But he's not a player that I'm gonna start crying about. And it's not a player I'm gonna spend the whole season listening to this shit. There's no way. So for me personally, I just want to get this resolved, and it's too much drama. If Manchester United get him, I think he could do well for them. But again, it's not a needle mover for me. Needle mover is, you know, certain player, certain ilk where I'm seriously distressed and worried about what he could. Listen, Mason Mount, I think, will be good for Manchester United, but too often we go down this De Bruyne, you know, it could be the De Bruyne, the Salah. These are Premier League greats that you're talking about. These are not normal players right here that you're talking about. It doesn't happen very often. We can come up with many examples of players that we've sold to rivals that haven't become Premier League greats. Jorginho, we sold him to Arsenal. Listen, wasn't nice to see because I like the character. I like the contribution to the club, but he's not going to become a Premier League great. You know, same applies to Juan Mata. He went to Manchester United, Nemanja Matic. These are guys that won big trophies at Chelsea as well, picked up player of the years. They didn't go on to become Premier League greats at those clubs. So too often we go to this Salah De Bruyne kind of like, oh, Salah De Bruyne, you know, this player, we can't afford to let him go because of what could happen. At the end of the day, that is a rarity. And those are our only 2 examples. And for good reason, because it doesn't happen very often. So for me, I'd take the 55. I appreciate the fact that we're trying to haggle, we're trying to drain Manchester United of their funds. I think that's a smart thing to do, considering the fact that they pay ridiculous money for players and they pay ridiculous wages. So we have no reason to sell to them at a cheap discount. I know people are saying 1 year left. Listen, 1 year left, I understand that, but you can still command a decent amount of money. It's that for me, 1 year left is a thing where, of course, we're not gonna go to the 70s and the 80s. And I don't even think as a player, for what he can do, just his ceiling, I don't even think he's an 80, 90 million player anyway. But for me, you're a Premier League rival, and we can't forget that. You are Manchester United. You are competing for top 4 as we are next season, unless you're maybe looking at a title. I personally don't think so at the moment. So we're contending for the same thing. So you have to get tax on that. If we were selling to a Bundesliga team or Italian team, 40 million. But you guys, you're Manchester United, you're a Premier League rival, so you're going to have to pay a bit of tax, a bit of Premier League tax, and then you're going to pay rival tax on top of the Premier League tax, and you're going to pay English tax. So for me, I'm happy at 55. I wanted 60, but I'm happy at 55. should get Maddison 40 million. Maddison's already going to Tottenham. I think that's already a here we go, isn't it? That's already confirmed. He's going to be going there for 40 million. Personal terms weren't a problem. I'm kind of surprised that Newcastle didn't go in for him, but of course they put a lot of money down for Tonali. They got Bruno Guimaraes there, and then maybe Joelinton will come back into the midfield. They got Willock still. I don't know what's going to happen with Longstaff, and St. Maximin's on that left wing. Isak can play left wing. So they've got quite a few options in the wide areas to bring Joelinton back in the middle. And I like Joelinton in midfield. I'm not going to lie. I think in midfield he's been a bit of a revelation. I think he got his first goal for Brazil not too long ago. So let's see. Let's see what else is being said in the comments. So Mason Mount showed flashes of being great early, but he settled into being just above average attacking midfielder. Listen, I think his development and his kind of where he was going as a player has gone not the way I expected. You know, when he first arrived at Chelsea, based on the loans I'd seen previously, I expected him to become a true number 8, a true, you know, midfield free number 8, left or right side, a true Liverpool-esque type midfielder in terms of that mold. He's now become more of a GA, higher up the pitch, pressing from the front, trying to get into the final third, actions, you know, off the ball runs, etc., and less of a dictator. Nowhere near a dictator in midfield. I am surprised, but listen, that's the trajectory he's gone on. Tuchel's put him in that position in terms of the front three in that 3-4-3 over the last couple of years. Then obviously Potter, really, he's been in and out this season. Obviously injuries and loss of form. Maybe he's just going to become that higher, you know, Bruno Fernandes type player. Maybe that's the type of player he's now going to become. That whole number 8 deeper from midfield can all be put to bed. We'll have to see. If Ten Hag puts him higher up the pitch, then it's truly done. But yeah, for me, you know, if you saw his second player of the year season, there was a lot of end product there. So maybe that's what they're looking at in their final third. They're going to push him up higher at Man United. We'll have to see what happens. Let's see what's being said here. Today is my birthday. Big up, bro. Happy birthday to you. And listen, much appreciated. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. That's what I'm here to provide. So we have Mason Mount, face-to-face talks, Manchester United, 24 to 48 hours. Guys, I'm expecting that deal now to get done. You don't meet face-to-face for no reason. That's a waste of everybody's time and energy. Man United want the deal done. Ten Hag wants the deal done. We look like we want the deal done. If you're not going to sign a new contract, you have to go, right? Nobody should be going into their last year this season at all. You know, either you're signing a new contract or you're leaving. There was talks about Hudson-Odoi, again, last year contract, got to be leaving. Pulisic, last year contract, got to be going. Anybody in their last year, their contract has to be leaving the club. We need money. We ain't got time to be letting people go for free. Doesn't make any sense. Angelino, yes, that's breaking news from Fabrizio as well. 15 million concrete talks, not done, but again, if you know, if we're ahead of the queue and we've obviously made the first move and there's no competition, then there's no reason why he's not going to make that move to Europe. That's what tends to happen. So again, that's another one that come out of nowhere. But you know, Santos star, will have to see how good he really is. And Declan Rice, obviously 100 million to Arsenal. That's probably going to get done pretty soon, depending on the terms. And that gives us a clear run at Caicedo. We've made so much money over the past week and a bit, right? You have the Mendy deal coming to a close, 15 to 17 million. You have the Ziyech deal coming to a close. People are giving me different figures on all you can eat Chelsea. Some saying 8 all the way up to maybe 12, 15, 14, whatever it is, right? Koulibaly, again, another deal. I think maybe 35 overall package for all of them. Then you've got Kai Havertz. We've already surpassed the 100 million mark for FFP that we were talking about that needs to be done before July 1st. That was the rumor. We needed to make that kind of money, right? We've done that now. We've definitely done that, got that sorted. Now it's time to really move on this Caicedo deal, because what I don't want to happen is Manchester City alternative option. Looks like they're looking at, you know, my man from Celta Vigo, but again, Manchester City, I don't even need them to get involved here. So we just need to put the foot down and get this deal over the line. Personal terms apparently are no problem. Fantastic. So that means just agree a bid and a fee with Brighton and get this deal over the line, so we know that our midfield next year is serious. Because right now it's a very imbalanced, unserious midfield, and you know, we need to bring in this caliber of player. Then after that, you've got talents that you can look at in pre-season. And I don't think the secondary midfielder we necessarily have to rush. I don't think the secondary midfielder we have to go, you know, next. That's our next priority. You could say goalkeeper's higher up than that. Jackson's coming in as a striker, so that's not as big a priority maybe. Some people still feel we need to go big on that. I've gave my thoughts on all you can eat Chelsea already on the striker position. But secondary midfielder is something that you can see. You know, give Santos, give Cassidy these minutes in preseason. Let Poch work with them. Carney, And then, you know, if it comes to a situation where they're not ready, then you can go into that market again and go and get your secondary midfielder if you absolutely feel like you have to, if you're Poch. After Mount leaves, it's incoming seasons. If Mount, you know, as soon as this Mount thing gets done, 55 million plus have a 65 million, we're over 100. Plus all the Saudi money, cover over 100. Again, we're coming up close to the 200 now. There's no excuse. Nice time to make moves. Nice time to kick on. Good to have you back, brother. Should be worried about the lack of homegrown players in the squad. Personally, me, I'm not worried. Now, are you? There's different homegrown, right? You've got players that have come through your academy that are registered from Cobham, and then you've got homegrown in terms of English talents. I'm assuming you're talking about English talents, right? You're talking about homegrown talents born or have been playing in England from a certain age, right? And have been developed in England. Now, we've got Chilwell. Trevor Chalobah's still here. Okay. We've got obviously now we've got Carney as well added to it. But let me go through the actual squad and go in order. Bettinelli, I think his contract's expiring, isn't it? Is Bettinelli's contract not expiring? I think it is. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Bettinelli. Let's see actually, because he does count. Let's see when his contract actually expires. And also, listen, I've been very sensible today on other platforms, but Arsenal spending quite a lot of money, 2026. Okay, so he's actually here for quite some time. Bettinelli, he's on a longer term contract. I've been quite sensible on other platforms about this whole Arsenal Declan Rice 100 million plus, but my goodness, have you got you guys? I was just saying to Turkish because I saw Turkish there at studio just as I was leaving. He was coming in. You guys are about to commit 200 million outright before any sales. And we already added up the money spent last summer, the last summer in January. Arsenal are not playing around with their spend. Oh my days. But anyway, before we get to that, let's just go through the homegrown. So we got Bettinelli, right? That's the first one. Then you got Trevor Chalobah still here. Chilwell. Then you got Reece James, Levi Colwill. Ampadu is still here, technically, but I would expect that he probably ends up going. Then we've got, okay, no Loftus-Cheek, no Mason Mount. Gallagher is still here. Whether you like it or not, Gallagher is still here. And there is no advanced talks for Gallagher. There's no bid for Gallagher currently. He's still a Chelsea player and there is no movement on Gallagher. So that counts. Carney, another one. Lewis Hall, another one. Sterling as well. Amando Broya, another one. Madueke, another one. Hudson-Odoi, you expect to leave. So for me, no, that's not an issue. That's not a worry. We've got loads. You know, depending on who we loan, keep. But again, the club will have the number in their head that they need to have. And you have to also remember, we don't have Champions League or any UEFA competitions this season. So we don't have to meet a certain requirement for UEFA for homegrown talent. So then it will just be about Premier League and they'll have that number fixated in their head. They won't be going below that number in terms of the squad that they submit to the Premier League. And also, of course, you don't have to submit your homegrown talents under a certain age as well to the Premier League. You can just bring them in as and when you please. Now let's go to Twitter because people are telling me that there's another tweet that's dropped and I'm hoping that it's something serious. AC Milan, Fulham, Nottingham Forest have registered interest in signing Callum Hudson-Odoi. We've just mentioned him, who plans to reject Saudi move. Chelsea could sell for around 15 million. Again, let's get it done. 1 year left on his contract. We are not going to give him a new contract based on the loan that just happened at Bayer Leverkusen, based on many factors like that. So for me, again, as much as I liked the player previously, I'm also in a ruthless mood. I'm not really trying to see him be going into his last year for when we could be making money here. 15 million, let's get it done. If you want to stick some sort of first I wouldn't say a buyback, but if you want to put a first refusal on, if you want to put a first refusal on it, then fair enough, a matching bid clause, just in case, just if you want to protect a potential recovery and a potential Hudson-Odoi, next season, solid season, and you want to protect that asset, then you can do that. But for me, that's probably as far as it goes. All right, let's see. Yeah, 15 million. Listen, we didn't pay anything. It's not 70 million that we got from Bayern. You have to remember, Bayern Munich came in for Hudson-Odoi a couple of years ago. 70 million. I think that was a loan and then 70 million after. I can't remember if it was an obligation or an option, but there was a 70 million fee somewhere in that deal for Hudson-Odoi and Bayern Munich. And obviously that wasn't the first time they came in for him, because they came in for him in January in the Sarri season as well. And that was where the whole, Hudson-Odoi new contract and the pressure and all of that kind of stuff came into play. So Bayern Munich were coming in with pretty hefty bids for Hudson-Odoi. I have to say, even Ruben Loftus-Cheek, people are remembering before the injury, Hudson-Odoi before the injury, these were serious talents at our club. Now, obviously, the big injuries that they had had massive impacts on their trajectory and where they went after. And also Sarri leaving probably had an impact on these two players, because they broke through under Sarri. He's the one that gave the faith, gave the trust, gave them the position in the team. Right wing for Hudson-Odoi, left side midfield free for Loftus-Cheek, coming in for Barkley, coming in for Pedro and Willian in Hudson-Odoi's case. Him being sacked or him leaving, kind of being forced out by the fans in a way for the chance. And then obviously by mutual consent, he decided to go to Juventus. Him going also had an impact on their trajectories and their futures, not just the injuries, because obviously new managers, new ideas. I remember Frank Lampard, he wasn't really using Hudson-Odoi that much. I remember so many times he was almost playing Mason Mount sometimes on the wing over Hudson-Odoi, and I remember being quite annoyed by that. So, but obviously maybe didn't rate him as higher or didn't train hard enough, etc., etc. So, yeah, it's a shame for these talents, but yeah, we've come to a point now where they both have to go, and they both need to make their moves and go and actually play regular first team football. If they're going to get back to the level that they thought they could get to, or that it looked like they could get to, then they need to be playing regularly. They need to have that trust and backing from the coach. And whether or not, Pochettino could have got something out of Hudson-Odoi, he's got Mudryk, he's got Madueke. Those are the guys ahead of him in the queue in terms of investment. And obviously they've only just come through the door. Those are the players he needs to focus on developing, not really Hudson-Odoi at this current moment, at this point. And it wasn't a successful loan at Bayer Leverkusen, unfortunately, as well. So yeah, we feel him ruthless, and we have to do that. It's as simple as that. It was 70 million, but during Lampard's time, not Sarri. During Sarri, they offered 40. Okay, so I'm just confusing that timeline a little bit. So under Sarri, that was the January offer, 40 million. Then obviously under Lampard, 70 million. And again, I think it was after a loan deal, but I can't quite remember. Madueke is not good. I don't really understand. I don't really understand where that comes from. I'm gonna put the breaking news in the scroll bar on the bottom of the screen, because I see some people are just coming in now. Big up everybody coming inside the building. We're gonna be talking about all things in that title, so do not worry if I have not got onto anything that you're joining for at the moment. We'll be going through everything, but let's get that in the breaking news banner just on the bottom. So listen, this is a week for outgoings and just hopefully some serious breaking news on one incoming, which is Caicedo. For me personally, I am quite happy to take our time in the window in regards to, first of all, the goalkeeping position. I personally still believe that we need to get a goalkeeper. I'm not convinced on Kepa. Now, that's where my first disagreement may come with Pochettino. He wants to go with Kepa as a first choice, reportedly. I personally disagree. I have seen enough of Kepa for me to feel like we need a new goalkeeper who is of a certain standing, of a certain level in all metrics, not just sweeper keeper, maybe he can play out from the back, not just penalty stop. But I'm talking cross collection. I'm talking about being a dominant goalkeeper. I've grown up on Petr Cech. I've grown up on, even Courtois, in the couple of years where we won the Premier League under him. We need a commanding goalkeeper who is taking pressure off the centre backs in the box, not the other way around, causing centre backs to have head loss in the box and causing panic. That's just me. That's just my opinion on Kepa. So I personally still feel like a goalkeeper is a massive thing for us, and I think a goalkeeper is more important than, say, getting another striker in. That's just me. I know Kepa has got us into the top four before, but this is not just for me about top four. This is just about long term. I don't want to get stuck on this Kepa cycle any longer. So that's the breaking news at the bottom of your screen, and I'm going to try even change that to yellow. But anyway, all right, let's see what else is being said. So yeah, in terms of Declan Rice, the reason why I was smiling about it on other platforms is purely because I know Caicedo is now not going to Arsenal, and that we can move in for him now. And that for me is music to my ears. We were never going to get all of these top midfielders that are going around. We were never going to be able to pick them all up. We have to accept that rivals are going to get top players. That's just going to happen. But we also need to make sure that we are part of it. We're part of the festivities. We have to, for me, go and get a goalkeeper. And there's a difference between having Kepa as your first choice and having Mendy, who's pretty similar in terms of quality to him, and then they're competing. And having Kepa as your first choice and not having anyone behind Kepa who is capable of starting a long stretch of games if Kepa is to go through poor form, because he's not rubber stamped. Now, if you go into the season with Kepa as your first choice, you know, unanimously first choice, and there's not really any clear competition, and you go for a standard secondary goalkeeper, for me, that's a massive risk. That's a massive risk. Keylor Navas is maybe a cheap option at Nottingham Forest to bide you some time. Sorry, at PSG, but yeah, I don't know. We need to do something. What number will Nkunku have? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what number Nkunku will have. What options are there? What options for numbers are there? Think about who we've sold. Obviously, Kante's gone, number 7. For me, most likely, I think Sterling will then get the number 7 shirt. Same shirt he wore at Manchester City. Loftus-Cheek's obviously gone, so that frees up the 12. Lukaku will leave. That will free up the 9. Havertz will go. No one wants really 29, but that is there. Mason Mount will go. That frees up the 19. Pulisic will go. That will free up the 10. Felix is gone, obviously only on loan. That frees up the 11. I think Nkunku could get either the 10 or the 11, personally. I think Sterling will get the 7. I don't think anybody will fight for the 29. I think Jackson, maybe, if we don't get another striker, could get the number 9. Keep a very close eye on what number Jackson gets. If Jackson gets the number 9, I personally feel like we won't get another striker, because I'm personally thinking in my head, any big name striker we're getting would automatically get the number 9, whether it's Vlahovic, etc. Now, if Jackson gets the number 9, that is a vote of confidence. That is a vote of confidence, in my opinion, that you're going to be leading the line. That's a clue. That's a hint. I don't know what's going on with this stake.com thing as well, because I didn't actually make a video on that, but I haven't seen an update. Caicedo will get the 8. Enzo will keep the 5. I think he will. A lot of people feel like the 9 is cursed. I'm going to run a poll. If this number 9 shirt, do you believe is cursed? Is the number 9. I don't believe in curses, right? I believe in poor recruitment, lack of due diligence done, and sometimes just going by the GA statistics and not going with the context as to how that came about. Is the number 9 cursed at Chelsea? There's going to be a lot of rival fans probably answering this, so they're going to tell me yes. But listen, I'll run the poll regardless. Big up everybody inside the building. Make sure you smash up the likes if you haven't. Some people are saying retire the 9. Do you know what messes up my head? We had the 26 shirt, right? John Terry. Koulibaly had to ring him. He had to use international phone credit to ring John Terry to get that shirt number. And, he got it. And it was this big thing in terms of the announcement. And it was a kumbaya moment. And then bang, 1 year later, he's gone. Number 26 is open again. Slightly embarrassing, but more so on our side than I think on Koulibaly's, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we gave him the conditions to really judge him as harshly as he's probably going to get judged. I think we have to take some responsibility on the upheaval and the instability we created. So retire that number. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me when you think about it. All of that hype. And then my man is literally gone to Saudi a year later. It's insane. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Colwell should get 26. That's a shout. Colwell is a shout. He obviously wore 26 previously at previous loans. Did he wear number 26 at Huddersfield? I'm just trying to remember. Let's see. But Levi Colwell, listen, if Levi Colwell gets that number, that's a big number to get. It's not just any, it's not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry number. It's a serious number if you give him number 26. I think he did wear it at Huddersfield. I'm just trying to get some images up. Let's see. Did he wear the number 26? So you guys probably let me know in the chat faster than Google will. 20. Yes, he did. Okay, he did. So again, vote of confidence. If he gets it, vote of confidence. Caicedo number 7. Personally, I never liked a central midfielder wearing the number 7. I would prefer the number 7 to go to an attacker, to be honest, we have some famous midfield number 7s. We've had Kante, we've had Ramirez as well. So yeah, it's kind of part of our history. But for me personally, I would prefer if it went to an attacker. But we'll have to see. Let's see. Ramirez and Kante. Yeah, exactly. I think Sterling will get it personally, but we'll have to see. So we've gone through some of those squad numbers there. Madueke's on 31. Who else has left this club? Aubameyang left on number 9. So like I said, that's open. Lukaku will not be getting it. Hopefully not. He was obviously the previous number 9. Gallagher's still here, but he's number 23. Zakaria's left. He's number 20. I think one of the young players might, get a little upgrade and maybe move to a 20. Maybe a Carney will go from a 30 to a 20. That wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, number 19 will become vacant from Mason Mount. I can't believe Baba Rahman and Malang Sarr still here. Gusto as well coming in. What number will he get? 28 comes vacant because of Aspilicueta. Let's see who else. And Chalobah number 14, if he becomes vacant as well, maybe. Could be something to keep an eye on. Mendy wearing number 16, nothing really too substantial. Madueke number 31. I don't know if that's a number that he wants to actually have, if that's got any sentimental value to him. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange number to get, but listen, that's the one he's got. So yeah, keep an eye on that. But listen, and I'm about to be shameless, but I'd like to calculate very soon how much money we're bringing in this window. And I'm not going to go into the spend just yet because I'm shameless, but I do want to calculate the amount of money we're bringing in, because then we can kind of scrape that off the 600. And if we can bring in 200 million, scrape that off the 600, take it down to 400, then we can really start to have conversations with others. We can start to have conversations with Arsenal. We've probably spent about 300 plus million, in totality once we bring the Declan Rice fee into it, once we bring in certain other players into it as well, Kai Havertz. Manchester United, not far away as always. So, once we really get that 200 million in, I'm not trying to hear 600 million again. I'm hearing 400. And once I'm hearing 400, I'm starting to think, you know what? That's not even that bad. That's not even that bad. That's quite close to quite a few other clubs. So I'm willing to have that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. As soon as these get done, whatever happens to Shame, then I'm on. I'll calculate it at some point and put it all into a video and come with the most shameless piece of work you've ever seen in your life. That is coming soon. I'm not gonna lie. Pulisic needs to leave. There was links with Pulisic to was it AC Milan, also Lyon. Listen, AC Milan for me have always been the better Milan club. They're the ones putting up the money. Now they have Tonali, obviously Sale, so they have money to work with. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, hopefully Pulisic as well. But the difference is when AC Milan get their money, it doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just evaporate into nothing. When Inter Milan get 100 million for Lukaku, when Inter Milan get money, it evaporates into the atmosphere and we don't know where the money's gone. Then they come back to us a year later telling us they're broke. Even though they got to a Champions League final, they're telling us they're broke. They ain't got no money. We need loans. Even the other day I saw, I think it was yesterday, Lukaku, loan deal option to buy. I don't think these men are hearing us. It's a obligation. There's a difference between the two words. We're not stupid, right? Obligation to buy, not an option. I don't know how many times Inter Milan need to be told. I don't know if you man are not understanding the conversation that's taking place. We want to permanently transfer Lukaku out of the club, okay? You see when he comes into Cobham to collect his keys, his wallet, his toothbrush, all of these things, that is the last time he steps foot inside the training ground. This summer, January 1st, whenever he comes back, it's the last time he steps foot. So if you want him, pay the money either now or obligation to buy. I don't know if you're hard of hearing, if you need to get a little bit of a cleaning, on your ears. Maybe there's some earwax stuck in there. Listen clearly. Obligation, yeah, not option, yeah, please. So yeah, the quicker that deal gets done, the better, because they're really jarring, very, very jarring, and they've already scammed us anyway. That's the thing. They've already scammed us. So it's like you already won. Now just let it be done. Now you've already won. You got a massive amount of money for the player. Then you got him back out on loan. You've already won. We're just trying to save face at this point. Poch interview in 2 days. Yes. We're not far from the 1st of July, which means hopefully the first Poch press conference. I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. This is also a large reason as to why I want a lot of these exits done. As soon as he comes in, even though preseason doesn't start, I think, until the 4th, players come back in drips and drabs. I think the first batch is coming on Tuesday. And then thereafter, obviously, there's been some international games, etc. I don't know what holidays and breaks these guys are on in terms of the difference. But I think Sterling's already training. He's already doing a little bit of training here and there. Regardless, even that first batch of players that come in, I don't want to see players that are meant to be exiting. So it would be lovely to get these deals wrapped up. All the Saudi deals will get done in the next day or two. Ziyech, official. Mendy's basically done. Koulibaly's already done. Aubameyang is gone very quiet, too quiet for my liking. I don't want to see Aubameyang next in preseason at all, right? Aubameyang, that we need to be making moves on that. I don't know what the holdup is. I think it's on personal terms, maybe. Maybe he's having reservations over going to Saudi. I don't really think at his age, with what he's currently at in terms of his level, I don't really see why there'd be reservations. I don't think there's anything more to do or prove in Europe. What is he, 33 years old, I think he is. So if anything, he's the perfect player to go and make that Saudi move. So for me, 34. And he's 30, yeah, he's just turned 34. So for me, I'd be surprised if he's not going Saudi as well for that last big contract. So that is something that I need to see get done as well. Cover's already done to City. We've seen the shirts and the announcements. Now, someone was asking this question, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments as well. When a player, and this can apply to everyone, when a player leaves your football club, do you unfollow them on social media? I actually genuinely want to know that. That's a good question. You know, when the player that you've been supporting, defending, backing, chanting their name, when they leave your football club, do you unfollow them? And obviously context applies, right? So if they're going to a rival, this is just me. If a player's going to a direct rival, immediate unfollow. I don't give a damn what you've done. I don't care what you've done for the club. If you go to a direct rival, it doesn't mean you're a snake. And I'm going to clarify this in a minute, because I don't think Kai Havertz is a snake. And I'm going to clarify why. But if you are going to a direct rival, immediate unfollow, immediate. More than you can believe. You don't even understand the capacity. I will unfollow you before you've even left. I've already unfollowed Lukaku. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what it is. But if you're leaving to a direct rival, I'm unfollowing you immediately. I don't need to see you wearing the Man United kit. I don't need to see you. So Mason Mount, I'm unfollowing. I can't lie. Immediately. Day one. As soon as that Manchester United cloth hits your skin, it's done. It's over. You're an op. And that's the mindset. Because a lot of time people will be like, oh, but they've done. No, if you go to a direct rival, you are an op immediately. You're an op. That's how it is. When we go into the games, when we go to the Old Traffords and the Emirates of this world, and when we're scrapping, directly, physically scrapping, right? We're having these brawls and the referee's breaking it up with whistles being blown. Mason Mount's going in with a big tackle on Enzo Fernandez. I'm riling up. I'm saying, fuck you, bro. I'm going for it. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. It's rivalry. It's tribalism. If you're wearing that kit, you're an op. To me, you are the enemy. You are evil. That's it. Like, immediately. So 100%, that banner can never come out again. If he signs, listen, I don't even think that even needs to be said. That banner is finished. Listen, it's done. You see all of that banner stuff and the money that went towards that? Long day. Try and see if you can find your receipt. Try and see if you can find your receipt on that banner, and try and see if you can give it back. Highly doubt you can. Or at least put some graffiti over it and get somebody else's name on it. Do you know what I mean? Because that can't come out. It's crazy the amount of money, the amount of resources for that whole raising money for the banner, only for him to end up at Man United in less than a year after. Insane. And this is why you have to be very careful over who you make a banner of, because a lot of people will say, oh, they don't regret it because, you know, he did this for the club and da. But I'm not gonna lie to you, we look very stupid right now putting all that money into a banner for a player that's going to be playing for Manchester United in a couple of days, most likely. That is a very foolish thing to do. And that's why you don't give banners to players really under the age of, for me, 27, 28. And more importantly, you don't give banners to players unless they have definitely really hit that legendary status. Because you're doing it too, you're moving too fast. You can get one of them small banners that we just flip over the stadium, over the little advertising boards. You know, you can get one of them small ones because they don't cost much, you know, 50, 100 quid, no problem. We can get one of those small ones. But in terms of the big crowd surfer, a big whole ass crowd surfer, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, mad. But for me, yeah, Havertz, Mount, all these guys straight unfollow. Kante, I kept following because for me, that's a legend of the club. He ain't going to a rival. Same with like an Eden Hazard. Again, you're not going to a real rival. Legend of the club. Aspilicueta, legend of the club. Not going to a rival. I can keep following you. So it depends on who it is. It depends on the context. And also, if you have not done anything significant, then I'm unfollowing straight away. So as much as I like Koulibaly, unfollowed. Do you know what I'm saying? As much as I like, you know, I don't even need to mention the Bubba Rahmans and Malang Sars. As much as, you know, Aubameyang, unfollow. Ziyech, unfollow. To be honest, like these guys that are not like top Chelsea players, as soon as you leave, unfollow. So that's kind of my metrics of how I would do it. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I like Koulibaly, but I unfollow. You know what I mean? Like you was here for a year. It is what it is. You know, you came in, you're out the door the next day. It's done. We move because, yeah, for me, you gotta be top Chelsea level. Cover, unfollow. You're going Man City. Yeah. Listen. You may have seen me, you know, kind of parading this Man City win the league, but did you see me in the Champions League final? Did you see when they scored the goal? How gutted I was. Man City are a Premier League rival. You're going to Man City, unfollow. I'm not trying to hear that. Oh, you know, that whole statement. I don't even like to hear that. Unfollow already done. You know, Chelsea was great, but now I'm going to Man City to win. Huh? Excuse me? Unfollow, sir. Immediately unfollow. So yeah, we're not playing. And sometimes I'll keep the follow if I'm invested in the talent, like if I'm really invested in how they develop or how they kick on. Like a Loftus-Cheek, I'll keep following him because I've been with him from the beginning in terms of, you know, the coming up through the ranks and the youth teams and then going out on loan, the story. And if there's a story behind it, then I'll probably keep it. Do you know what I mean? As long as you're not going to a rival, I'll probably keep it. Because Loftus-Cheek, you know, massive injury, should have been. Maybe he could revive in Italy. I'm definitely gonna be watching AC Milan games, no doubt. Next season we'll be doing those watch alongs. So yeah, for me, I'm invested in that a little bit more. So I'll keep that one. I didn't actually read the goodbye message, to be honest. There's so many players leaving Chelsea at such a rate. It's like this. It's like quick fire. Bang, 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 bang. They're just leaving so fast. I don't even know who's leaving, who's dropping statements, who's saying goodbye, who's at Cobham picking up their belongings, who's on which flight. I can't keep track of it. And I'm glad because I'm not trying to keep track. I'm just trying to know that players are leaving ASAP. I want players, signatures signed and players out the door every day. Every day I want a new here we go for a player sold. That's the vibe I'm on. So yeah, man. But yeah, of course, you know, you're gonna have your different. Yeah, you cannot unfollow Kante. Yeah, man, you got to keep Kante 100%. You know, that's a legend of the club, absolute legend of the club. So yeah, that's just how I see it. We've already obviously covered that one. Appreciate the super chat. Good to have you back. Actually, we got that one as well, but big up, brother. I appreciate it. I might be deluded. This is a new one, but I have a feeling about Osimhen coming in. Victor Osimhen. For me personally, I don't see it. Okay. I've said it before with this player and Napoli in general. They are going to charge a king's ransom for Osimhen. Okay, and they paid a lot for him. You have to remember. I think they paid more than 70 million for him from Lille in the first place. It was a big outlay that they paid for him. So now they're looking minimum 100. And I'm even hearing 110, 20, 30. And I don't know the quality of the source. But I heard there was a rejected bid from PSG that was quite a lot of money, right? We're talking mid 100 and it was rejected. So for me personally, I don't think so. I think, you know, I'm not going to even rule out that he signs a new deal, but I'm definitely going to rule out that he gets, gets moving over to us. I don't think that we're going to be so reckless. And I do believe a little bit of recklessness to spend that kind of money on a striker, considering our history, recent history as well. I think right now it's time to just assess. You know, take a chill pill. We're not in Europe next season. For me, breaking news. Angelo. 6-year contract at Chelsea. Started medical tests. Apparently, this is going all the way. This is going all the way, apparently. This deal. Okay, so now we're really starting to almost... We're looking at here we go quite soon, it seems, for this player. Now, like I said, I don't know this player too well, but we're going to get to know. Now, it's not, you know, it's one of those ones where we know the situation. He's not going to be in the first team next season, most likely, but I hope we have a plan for him because, like I said, we've got a lot of left-footed, right-sided attackers now in terms of the younger ones. Not first team, not, you know, we don't have loads of right wingers stacked up in the first team. But if we're looking at, you know, the younger players that we've signed, there's quite a few now that are coming in on this type of profile. Obviously, you know, what was it? The 16-year-old that we signed as well. So for me, yeah, it's getting a bit out of hand. So let's go to this now and let's see what this is saying. So we've got a little comp here. May as well. You know what I mean? May as well, guys. May as well. We got a little comp. Like I said, I don't know the player, but I'm looking forward to finding out. And let's just see. Let's just see what we're even dealing with from a subsurface level. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So this is the player. Am I allowed to play this music, or they gonna come and copyright strike my ass? To be fair, if it's already on YouTube, I should be fine, no? If I get copyright strike, y'all know it was for you. I did it for you. So he's a right winger. He's going to be cutting up on this right side, dribbling ability, of course, any Brazilian. Is he a Neymar or is he a Martinelli? What kind of dribbler is he? Nice not so long ago that we just signed a kid. Gotta be the next Neymar, surely. Santos, a bola chega no ângulo, tá na área, dominou, fez aqui, tá bacana. Say mute it. Alright, I'll mute it. I'll mute it. I'm probably already screwed now anyway. Anthony. Yeah. Could be copyrighted, yeah, probably. Could be. Music too loud. Anthony at best, 5 goals in 151 appearances. What? Well, let me take a look. Just baseline what we're dealing with here statistically. This is his comp. It's mad. It's mad how much stockpiling we're doing. But do you know what? There's a narrative that we have to dead, right? This is exactly what Roman did as well. That's what is very important. A lot of people don't mention it, but this is exactly what Roman did. Roman did exactly the same thing. This player has 2 goals in 12 appearances in the 2023 Brazilian league campaign. Listen, this is exactly what Roman did. This is exactly what Roman did. Roman stockpiled talents. He always brought in your Lucas Piazons and your Kennedys, and it's exactly what we're doing right now. So as much as he might not make it, if we do make a profit, it's a similar type of structure and plan that Roman had. So wouldn't be fair to just say it's a Todd Bowie thing. It's certainly not an original idea that we're doing right now. And to be fair, Man City have bought quite a few South American talents as well over the years that no one really talks about. Some of them don't make it, but they also like to dabble in this South American pool and bring in these players. Could be another profit signing. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But we'll have to see. But yeah, he's definitely a player that operates on the right side. You'd expect dribbling from any Brazilian. I'm not going to lie. That's just an assumption I make. If you can't dribble when you're Brazilian, then as an attacker, then I don't know what we're doing here. He's got some nice turns on him, though. Good at receiving the ball under pressure. Showing a couple of good passes here and there. A little bit of awareness. It's another attacking midfielder. Going to have a lot of them. And yeah, it's a madness. He looks like he has potential. Really, really good dribbler. Heard he's better than Endrick. Listen, I haven't actually heard anything. This player came out of nowhere. This player came out of absolutely nowhere. Endrick is obviously a massive signing now. Real Madrid, he's going to be joining when he turns 18. It's crazy. They put down quite a bit of money for him. Marco Marin. I remember when Marco Marin was called the German Messi. I remember that distinctly he was called the German Messi when he was at Werder Bremen and also looked brilliant. I remember we had Marco Marin. That was the time when we had Marco Marin. We had Salah, De Bruyne, Oscar, Mata, Hazard. So many 10s, attacking midfielders, wingers. So many. Stockpiled them like crazy. The streets won't forget. People are saying it's going to be Obertan. You're moved, yeah? You're moved. You know what? For me, I'm like, I haven't really done any videos on these 2004, 2003, 2005 players that we're signing, purely because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just mainly concerned about the first team. I'm concerned about the here and now. I need to know who's coming into the team this season, who's going to be in the first team so we don't finish 12th. I need our reputation put right back at the top of football because this season was embarrassing. But, obviously this is the future, so we have to keep a keen eye. Now, apparently Fabrizio has come with the here we go. Fabrizio's come with the here we go. Oh, shit! Oh! Oh! Live! Breaking news! Chelsea have agreed the 15 million euro fee for the Brazilian, the undisputed, talented, star, next Neymar, untouchable, can't be tamed, Angelo. 2004 talented Brazilian striker. Here we go. Confirmed. Personal terms agreed. 2029. God damn. He'll start preseason at Chelsea. Then a possible loan deal to Strasbourg. It's not Vitesse anymore, guys. Make sure that you understand that. When you're cracking your jokes as rival fans, I don't want to hear about Vitesse anymore. It's Strasbourg now, okay? It's a French team. Make sure you get that right. I don't want to hear about Vitesse. People keep talking to me about Vitesse. This ain't 2012. What are we cooking? What are we cooking? I'm glad I went live for it because now it's done and then we can move on to something in the first team. But yeah, listen, that is a done deal. That is a done deal. Chill, bro. I got headphones on. Sorry, apologies. Apologies to headphone users. Why is this guy screaming? Why the excitement? We have no idea who he is, bro. I'm just excited. I'm not even excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just taking the piss. Here we cook. Here we go. Yeah, done deal. I have no idea who he is, but we've seen a comp, and we'll see what happens with him in terms of his future. He's here for the preseason. Now, the one thing I did say, and I'll stand by, right? We had a very gifted young player that is leaving on a free in the Cobham ranks that was out wide. We also have Amari Hutchinson. We also have Diego as well from Benfica B team that's coming in, if you remember, on a free. I think a left winger. Listen, if one of these guys can have a good preseason, they could end up becoming the fourth choice winger because a lot of people are saying we need a winger, right? We have Sterling, we have Mudryk, we have Madueke. Now, for me, in a Premier League season where you're playing one game a week and one extra Carabao Cup game, that is enough to take you to January. You got Sterling that can play out on that right flank. He can play on the left flank. And then you've got Mudryk and Madueke that play in the left wing and the right wing positions. I think we need to kind of almost embrace a little bit of consistency this season in terms of starting 11, in terms of not chopping and changing week to week to week. I think if you're going to find any sort of quality in terms of numbers, GA, stat pads, whatever you want to see, chemistry, consistency, you do need to have some sort of consistent starting 11. And we don't have that many games, right? We're just playing one game a week in the Premier League and then a little bit of cup competition. The cup competitions, you can rotate, you can bring the young players in. If we're playing, Shrewsbury in the second round, I'm not expecting to see Sterling, right? For me personally, you can add an extra winger on from this pool, from this younger, pool of wingers here that we're talking about. This name, Harvey Vale is another one that has just been mentioned. Great example. That could easily be your fourth choice winger. And then you're going to get the response, the generic response of, oh, but that's not what Manchester City do. Well, I'll have you know that's exactly what Manchester City do. That's actually exactly what Manchester City do. Cole Palmer is Manchester City's fourth choice winger, right? Cole Palmer is Manchester City's fourth choice out-and-out winger. They have Grealish, they have Mahrez, and then they have these Bernardos, Fodens that are not really true wingers, but they sometimes play out wide. But they also have Cole Palmer, and they actually gave opportunities this season to Cole Palmer, right? And Foden, to be fair, is a youth academy product, so I don't even want to even include him too much because he had to get a chance and a breakthrough at some point, and that's exactly what I'm advocating for here. So Bernardo Silva, right, is the one that they purchased. For me personally, you have to get the balance right. We have spent quite a lot of money on wingers. Mudryk, you spent so much money on Mudryk, he has to almost start the majority of games for me personally, all right? You've put down the money. Madueke was a little bit more of a humbler, in terms of the price point. But again, I'm expecting to see him on the pitch. He's shown glimpses and good things. And Sterling really, whether people like it or not, obviously last season was poor for Sterling, but Sterling is a starter. Sterling, at his age, for the money that he makes on that contract, 300K a week. Todd Boehly right now is chopping that wage bill down, chopping it down. Anybody on that kind of wage is out the club. Sterling's the only one that's not really moving, right? Because he's only just come in. But also, even, Koulibaly just came in and he's already gone. So Sterling is the outlier. Me personally, Sterling's got to start majority of games. And I don't think that's crazy to say. So for me personally, when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, that fourth choice is more of a Cole Palmer. It's more of a young player with some talent that needs developing, that needs, to be around the first team, can train with the first team, and can get some opportunities here and there. Cole Palmer had 14 games last season for Manchester City. Now, the majority of those, if not all of them, are off the bench. And you can see that in the minutes he's clocked up, which is 358. 4 appearances in the Champions League, again, off the bench, majority, potentially. FA Cup, 4 appearances. EFL, 3 appearances. No first team player that you're purchasing at a 40, 50, 60 million pound price range is getting these minutes and not getting extremely pissed off behind the scenes and demanding an exit a year later. So these type of minutes that I'm talking about can only be given to a young player that has no expectation of playing for the club and really is just there to prove themselves, to train, to develop, and to try and take any small grains of rice of minutes that they can. I can't even keep using the rice analogy because rice costs a hell of a lot. Rice cost 100 million. I'm gonna have to call something else. But my point is, these type of minutes accumulated can only go to a player that is basically some of the ones I've listed. So for me, that's the fourth choice winger, and that is what I'm looking at in terms of, you've got to look to that pool. And yeah, it could be between anyone. It depends on when we purchase this Portuguese club. You've got to make sure that you're not just sending everyone to Strasbourg because you have them under your kind of olive branch. It has to make sense. They have to actually, that has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then you can't get it done. So some of them, they can't all go there, right? So some of them will end up either going elsewhere or they'll stay. And if they end up staying, then they could become that fourth choice midfielder, so a fourth choice winger. So let's take a look. If Kai or Werner had the season Sterling had, we'd be slandering them. How can you sit there and say Sterling needs to start the majority of games? Okay, all right. Let me try this differently because you're missing the point. I didn't say Sterling had a great season. Sterling was dog shit. But on £300,000 a week, you have to start games and you have to deliver goals and assists. Sterling has to start the majority of games because of the money he's on, for what we paid, and for who he is. And that's politics, but that's facts. Sterling is not a bench player for Chelsea. In this current Chelsea squad, with what we have available to us, he has to start the majority of the games. Now, if he's playing poorly, he's going to be benched 100%. It's a democracy. But for me personally, I expect to see Sterling starting. I expect to see Sterling delivering. When Kai Havertz was poor his first season, I gave him that. I gave Werner his first season. I always actually give people their first season. Whenever you come in, you get your first season. Now, for me personally, Sterling's got less of an excuse than Kai and Werner because he's older. He's in his prime. He played in the Premier League already. But there's also the context of the fact that, yes, we changed 3 managers, unstable, and, chopping, changing constantly, worst season ever. That's affected everybody, including Sterling. Tuchel was sacked immediately. That's who he's coming under now. Next thing you know, Potter's in charge. So there's context for everybody's poor first seasons, right? But he's had a poor first season. But just because he's had a poor first season doesn't mean I expect him to have a poor second season. I expect Sterling to respond to the season he's just had, to step up and to become a starter, especially when you're competing against players that are not finished products. Mudryk is not a finished product. Madueke is not a finished product. So I'm expecting them to compete amongst each other for that second spot. Sterling is in his prime. Sterling is a bona fide Premier League player who's delivered for top clubs time and time again, has won trophies, has played for England, has played amazingly at the Euros. Like, he has to be a key part of the team next season. If he's not, then he's not worth the money he's on. And then we have to look at getting rid. But he's going to be here next season, so I expect him to start. That's my point. I'm not saying that he didn't have a good. I'm not saying that he had a good season last year. he had an awful season, but there's no excuse from Sterling next season to have another poor season. And because I don't think there's an excuse for him to have a poor season, I therefore expect him to have a great season or a good season. And therefore, if he's having a good or great season, I therefore expect him to start. If I'm saying that he's not going to start, that means I think he's poor or he's not playing well. And therefore, that means he shouldn't be here. Maybe you're saying he's past his prime. Fair enough. I'm just going by age. If you're looking at his age, he's in his prime. But then again, he did start a lot earlier than others. You know, he was in Liverpool's first team at age 17. He's now age 28. So he's had 10 years plus already under his belt. I think once he hits 30, then I'm going to understand a bit of a drop-off. At 28, personally, I'm still expecting a couple of strong seasons from Sterling. And then once you're 30, 31, for the player that you are, a winger, starting at a young age, like fair enough. You can have an earlier tail off than others. I'm not going to be surprised. But for me personally, I need to get 1 or 2 strong seasons out of Sterling before I see a tail off, considering how much we paid and considering how much he's on. I think he knows that as well. He's the highest paid player now at the club. He's one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced player at the club, alongside Thiago Silva in terms of age, in terms of experience of winning top level football. This is a very young squad now. A lot of experience has been taken out of it. Sterling has to deliver. For the sheer balance of the squad, we can't just have a team glittered of under 23s in the starting 11. There has to be some experience. So just based off that as well, the fact that Levi Colwill is going to start a lot of games because Bade Shield's injured. The fact that Fofana is going to start a lot of games because Silva really should be rotated and should be looked after, should be in the stands with his wife and kids. So Sterling really has to be starting. If you're talking about, experience in the team in the starting 11, he's one of the only ones left. So I'm even now making a stronger case as to why I expect Sterling to play a majority of the games next year. If he's not, then that's not good. That's not good. It's not good for anyone. So yeah, for me personally, he has to be starting games. And now I'm only rubber stamping that logic even more with the whole age thing. All right, let's see what PYS is saying. Is there another tweet that I'm missing out on? Or is this just the follow-up from Fabrizio? Pochettino, oh shit. Oh, goddamn. Pochettino really likes Frank Kessie. He's on Chelsea's midfield list. Obviously, this becomes part of Chelsea's secondary list for midfielders. In terms of Caicedo is in the top tier. That deal gets done. Then we're talking about the fillers. Then we're talking about the Zakarias in the squad. Now, maybe better than Zakaria, to be fair, but we're talking about the second listers. We're talking about the players that are going to be on the bench, that are going to come on as rotation pieces, right? Kessie's on that list. Am I happy that Kessie's on that list? Not really. But, I would prefer quite a few others more than Kessie, to be honest. But yeah, let's wait to see other sources before I get too carried away. It's just a report that's come out from, who is it? Let's see. Not gonna run it as a main story right now, but it's come out from an Italian journalist, I think. So yeah. All right. Well, let's see. I'm not too familiar with their reliability, but let's see. It's something that's come out. Who knows how serious it is? I think it's also important to say that it's not always we're interested. It's also agents. Sometimes agents are just putting out that their player is linked with us because we are a club that are very scattergun approach. Some people feel you can make an argument to say, listen, we are signing a lot of players over the last year. We are interested in a lot of players over the last year, but how much that interest really is, sometimes it's agents. Right now, Kessie, not really a big part of Barcelona's plans. It seems he needs to find a new club. I'm an agent. If I'm representing Kessie, I'm going to link him to Chelsea. It might get other clubs involved. It brings his name back into relevancy. Some other club might come in, pay the price. Next thing I know, I've got my player and move. So I'm not going to tell you that Kessie is actually a strong link because it could just be agent talk. So we'll see. And obviously saying that Pochettino likes Kessie is a very easy thing to say. And then suddenly, the Chelsea fan base are like, we have to sign Kessie because that's a Pochettino target. I ain't really chat to Pochettino like that on a one-to-one. So I don't really know if he actually wants Kessie just because somebody said he wants Kessie. So yeah. So there, I haven't checked his injury record, but I think he does have a bit of an injury record. And yeah, I'm just personally not on my list. All right, cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna have a meltdown because, like I said, it's just one tweet. It's not. If it comes from Ornstein, then by all means have your meltdown. If it comes from Ornstein, have your meltdown. But that's just come randomly out of nowhere. Personally, I'm not gonna lose my head. So yeah. Right. So that's that. What else do we need to cross off the agenda? I think that's. I'm glad that the deal's kind of been done while we're live because that's just nice to see. But yeah, we watched a nice little comp there. But it is what it is. Who's going to be our new penalty taker? Who's going to be our new penalty taker? That's a good question. I don't know if Nkunku was taking penalties for Leipzig, but he would be maybe someone to put on the list of potential penalty takers, just purely because he's one of probably the best ball strikers that we're now going to have in the team. He definitely is going to be one of the best ball strikers we're going to have in the team. Sterling, I don't know if he took some penalties for Manchester City. I believe he may have. I don't know if Jackson's taken a few for Villarreal. Let's see who else. Obviously, Pulisic takes them for the US at times, but he's not going to be here most likely. Let's see. Enzo Fernandez probably will come up as an option for some people as well. I'm not really seeing anything in the defense. Maybe Reece James might become one of the options as well. Wouldn't be surprised. He's got a very good ball striking technique. Reece James, very good striker of the ball. Very good technique. So he could become one of the options as well. And if you remember, if you cast your mind back, Ashley Cole, I know Ashley Cole didn't take penalties for Chelsea, but whenever Ashley Cole was needed in a penalty shootout, Ashley Cole's technique for penalties was spot on. Such a weird player to kind of be a good penalty taker. But Ashley Cole, I never had any doubt. I don't know if it's the shithousery or what it is about him, because no one really, a lot of people didn't like him. But Ashley Cole, when he stood up, took a penalty, when he stepped up to take one, he put it in the back of the net. Azpilicueta, to be fair to him as well, Azpilicueta, when he took penalties for us in penalty shootouts, he always put it in the back of the net as well. So yeah, fullback. Listen, Reece James is not a bad shout. A lot of people will say they want the striker to be the penalty taker purely because, listen, the opportunity to stat pad, confidence, get the confidence in. I'm not going to go against it, but they actually have to be a good penalty taker to begin with. I don't know if Jackson is a good penalty taker. Like I said, the sample size is so small for him as a player as it is, let alone going into that. So yeah, PYS, another tweet, it seems. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. So Al Hali's plans are to make an offer for Kessie. Kessie doesn't want to leave, but Barcelona can raise money with this sale. With the departure of Kovacic, Pochettino believes Kessie could adapt well in midfield. Listen, we shall see. We shall see if this report is really anything serious. At the moment, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. At the moment, I'm not really going much further than that. Nkunku does take penalties for RB Leipzig, it's being said. I wouldn't be surprised if Nkunku's really high up on that list in terms of he's an attacker. He takes penalties often then if he does for not Leverkusen, for RB Leipzig. And then on top of that as well, he's one of the new big signings that we've made as well. So he's got a lot of pedigree probably going into the dressing room quite early doors. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up taking the penalties. That's definitely one of the big options to look at. Now, I think we've covered basically almost everything. If we haven't, I'm just going to quickly gloss over, the latest, just kind of wrap things up. We've signed on stream, started, and now signed the young 18-year-old Angelo from Santos. That's a here we go. That's a done deal. He will start preseason with Chelsea and then a possible loan. If he, this preseason this is why I want the clear out to happen before preseason starts. The people that get onto that plane should be players that are guaranteed to either be in the Chelsea first team next season or players that have the opportunity to be in the Chelsea first team next season, depending on their performance. Now, preseason, it's an opportunity for everyone to impress, but there's certain players, a lot of these first team players, they're in the first team. Obviously, you don't need to prove to be in the first team. You're already in the first team. But then you have your Angelinos, you have your Angelos, you have your Carneys, your Santoses, your Cassidys. All these players are players that are trying to prove that they should be in the first team next season. If they're going to get that opportunity, there needs to be space. I don't want to see minutes for Pulisic. I don't want to see minutes for Lukaku, for Aubameyang, for Bakayoko, who's thankfully been released, but I'll say his name anyway, just in case, PTSD, for Baba Rahmans, for all these players. The list is endless because we still have more players to sell. I don't want to see these guys even put their studs into the grass. I don't even want to see them on the bench. I don't want to see them on the plane, right? When the plane takes off, I don't want to see them on the plane. Hell, I don't even want to see them even wearing any of the merch. Don't even put on the Trivago training kit. If you're bad, don't even put it on your, don't even let it touch your skin. Don't even let the Travago brand, yeah? Don't even let the Travago brand, the beautiful training kits that they produce. I wish they were the main sponsor. Do not even let that touch your skin. Yeah? Don't even dare. That's how serious I am. I don't even want to see them in the merch. It's done. It's over. Finito. Yeah? You're done out here. I want you sold. I want you off the premises. All right? You know that meme where you're trying to get into the, you open the door and the locks have changed. The locks have changed for Pulisic. The locks have changed for Hudson-Odoi. The locks have changed for Aubameyang, for Lukaku, for Malang Sarr, for Baba Rahman. The locks have changed, darling. Yeah? You can't enter the property no more. Stand outside, we'll bring your shit to you. Don't worry, we'll bring you your stuff. But you're not entering the property. That's how it goes. Out! out! Get out! Don't even breathe in. They need to be gone. They need to be gone. I'm quite surprised that we haven't released Baba Rahman, to be honest. Bakayoko had his contract fully terminated. I'm quite surprised that Baba Rahman didn't get the same. I think he's on 100,000 a week, which is absolutely ludicrous. But I'm surprised that his contract didn't get terminated outright because I don't think there's going to be much interest for him. Maybe his contract will get terminated at some point. Fingerprint scanner deleted your fingerprint. Was the Rice a blessing in disguise? Because if we didn't get him, we most likely going for Caicedo. Oh, yeah, ask the United fans when's the takeover. It is a blessing in disguise, bro. Because like I said earlier on in the stream, we can't sign everyone, especially when you finish 12th with no Champions League football, with the situation of trying to sell a lot of players as well first because of the bloating of the squad. We can't sign everyone that's a top player or has the potential to be a top player. You have to understand that. You have to accept that. Your rivals are going to sign top players. What I don't want is for our rivals to miss out on a top player that then makes them come and sign our top player and then we get left with nothing. We have to leave the table with something. We already secured Enzo in January. Brilliant business. This is why I was doing a 6-hour deadline day stream following aeroplanes for Enzo Fernandez. Because make no mistake, if we did not secure Enzo Fernandez in January, it would be extremely difficult, borderline impossible for us to sign him in the summer. I think he would have been a Real Madrid player. He just plays like a Real Madrid player for me personally. I think they would have gone in for him and they would have got him. That may have meant that maybe Bellingham would have went to City or to Liverpool. That would have then meant that maybe, you know, Rice went to City. That would have meant that maybe Caicedo went to Arsenal, McAllister. Listen, the point is we probably would have left with nothing because we are in the most precarious position in terms of our standing with no Champions League. So for me, I'm happy that you're getting him because that means we're getting someone else. I want this Caicedo deal to be done. And once we get that done, we've left the table with Enzo and Caicedo in the last 6 months. The table was Bellingham. It was Enzo Fernandez. It was Caicedo. It was Rice. Yeah, that was the table. We left with 2. When everybody did their photoshops with their club kits on, Liverpool fans, I saw Liverpool, you know, Photoshop. I saw Enzo Fernandez. I saw Caicedo. I saw Bellingham. Midfield 3, new trio. Urgh, big dog. Roof, roof. Yeah? No. No roof, roof for you. Yeah? No. Done. None of those deals got completed. Arsenal the same. We're going to get Caicedo and we're going to get Rice. No, you're not. You're going to get one and you're going to get Kai and you're going to give me my money. You're going to run me my P's. You're going to balance my books. That's what you're going to do. Yeah? Slow down there, buckaroo. You're not going to get Caicedo and Rice. The amount of Arsenal fans that were telling me, we're going to get Caicedo and Rice. We're going to get both. Urgh! No, you're not. No, big dog, relax. You're not going to get both. You're going to get one. You get one, all right? Don't get greedy. So we're getting 2 out of all of that, and I'm glad. Even Saeed wanted Enzo. Yes, he did. Grizz wanted Enzo. He wanted Caicedo. Saeed wanted Enzo. Yeah, listen, it's not easy. It ain't easy. Yeah, so for us to leave the table with 2, that is brilliant, especially in our worst ever season since the mid-90s. Yeah, we're leaving with 2. More than you can believe. I am very happy. So for me personally, leave with 2, get out, and we move, right? We've secured some young talents that are ahead of the curve, hopefully. The Andre Santos, the Cassidys, captains of their under-20 countries, right? Good. Future. but we've got the nows as well. We move, and it's better to leave with something than nothing. So we get 2, we move on. That's great. That's a great way to go. So I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. So yeah, in a weird about way, I am kind of cool that you got him, because it meant that you didn't get Caicedo. And if Rice goes City and you get Caicedo, what do we end up with? Nothing. So for me, I'm all right with you getting Rice, because it means we get Caicedo, and then we go against you in the London derby, and we go for it, right? 2 top midfielders clashing. Whoever wins, wins. But you have to accept top clubs are going to get top players. As long as you got some too, then we can fight. If we ain't got no one, then we screwed. So I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy with that. And for me, I'm taking Enzo and Caicedo over the pairing of over the pairing of Rice and Havertz, because Havertz is yet to show at the moment that he wants to be consistent. So let's see. But he's playing a new position now. Feel sorry for Ten Hag. Listen, Man United's takeover, I don't know what's going on there, but it's making them miss out maybe on some of these players. I don't know. I don't know if Manchester United were ever interested in any of these midfielders. If we're talking about McAllister's, if we're talking about Manchester United, what they need in the first phase alongside Casemiro, there's so many players going about right now in this deeper midfield position. Obviously, Cover's gone to Manchester City. That's one of them, but he's a lot older. Take him out of it. But in terms of that pool of players that we were talking about, Bellingham, not so much, but there's a lot of players going about right now in the defensive midfield, first phase midfield, De Jong, press resistant, ball carrier. There's a lot of these players going about right now, and they're not in for any of them. They're going in for Mason Mount. It's confusing a little bit because they wanted De Jong. I'm not really understanding, but listen, I'm not here to understand. I'm just here to collect my money. Yeah? Run me my money. Let's see what De Gea is saying. Apparently, De Gea has tweeted. Has he said something? De Gea. Manchester United's new... He signed a new contract. Oh. Yo, De Gea, what's going on? Man said he's yawning. Yo, there's some beef. There's some beef that I'm not aware of. And I ain't vegan, so run me my food. What's going on? There's some beef. Put it on a plate. Serve it to me. I want to see something. What's going on here? Man's yawning. Is he not going to get... So what's going on with De Gea, right? Is he not getting a new contract? Because I thought De Gea's contract wasn't expiring, but then I was told that his contract is expiring. Let's just take a look. De Gea's contract expires on June 30th. Apparently, a new proposal was submitted with a lower salary, yet to be agreed. That's the latest from a day ago. Quick Google search. So, but he's yawning now. So either he's yawning because he's tired of the noise of the negotiation. I don't know, but he's yawning. Man is yawning. God damn. It looks like he was yawning when that shot came in at Olympic Park as well. You know what I mean? Long day for De Gea. He's not happy. Fax machine still not working. It expired on Friday. Oh! Hold on. No, it expires on Friday. I thought you said expired. Yeah, it expires on Friday. 2 days' time. Shit, 2 days. Damn, this brother about to be unemployed in 2 days. 2 days. If Party goes to Saudi, Caicedo don't go anywhere. Listen. I can guarantee you now, you're not getting Caicedo, bro. It doesn't matter if Party goes to Saudi. You spent 105 M's. $105 million, bro. 105 million pounds. Squadinis. 105 of the Elizabeth Queen sterling. I'm not used to the king yet. 105 million. And West Ham want this cash quickly. You tried to do it over 4 years, according to Jacob Steenberg. They want it in 18 months. They want you to run the money early. You got Kai Havertz. That's it. Midfield, finito in terms of big purchases. So no, there will be no Caicedo. So I don't need to go anywhere. Yeah, because listen, there's nothing happening. Let's see. We're going in for Lavia instead. Listen, if you do that, then fair enough. Lavia is obviously a lot more of a cheaper option. The funny thing is about Lavia, we bid 50, and this will be maybe the final point before we come to a close. If something else happens, maybe I'll do a second stream later tonight. But Lavia, we bid 50 million for Lavia last summer, reportedly on deadline day, even though he had just signed for Southampton that summer. From Joe Shields and Lavia going from Manchester City to Southampton that summer. We then, in the same summer, bid 50 million. So I don't know what his valuation is after a full season of Premier League football. Because if his valuation, according to us, was 50 million without a ball being kicked in the Premier League, I don't know what his valuation is now. That's why I think us going for Lavia is almost a little bit of an issue, because we've already valued him so high before ball was kicked. Southampton have every right to say, listen, you were willing to pay 50. Now he's played. I know we're relegated, but minimum now we're looking at probably 50, 55. We'll see. I know Manchester City have first refusal or some sort of release clause. I'm not sure when it is, but listen, for me personally, yeah, if Arsenal go for him, then fair enough. But it's just not the magnitude of a Caicedo, which is all that I care about at the moment. So as long as that doesn't happen, then I'm all good to go. I'm all good to go. Let's take a look. Is there any? So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what De Gea is yawning about. This is going to be an interesting situation. I personally have been saying it for a while, but Manchester United need to replace him. I got a lot of heat on TikTok. How can you talk about the goalkeeper? There's so many other problems in this team. Yes, but one of the problems is that the highest paid goalkeeper in the world can't kick. The highest paid goalkeeper in the world can't catch from a cross or from a corner. So for me personally, for the money you pay him and for his standing in the team, he ain't worth it. And he ain't the level required if you want to get back to the top, especially under Ten Hag in a team that's meant to be playing out from the back. He's not the goalkeeper. And Sevilla, the game against Sevilla showed that's why you guys were kicked out of the Europa League. Maguire also played a part, but De Gea's pass selection in that moment, a lot of people want to get onto Maguire, but in that moment, De Gea's selection of pass, he can see the whole pitch. His decision to give the ball to Maguire, who's not even good on the ball, in that position is a dumb decision to make. It's a decision that a top goalkeeper on the ball doesn't make. So for me, De Gea has already shown that, listen, it's not it. Even with the Golden Glove, leave on a high. You got your Golden Glove and go. Even some of the shot stopping for me hasn't been great. For me, the Golden Glove is a representation of the entire defense. It's not just the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper gets the Golden Glove, but the Golden Glove is a representation of the defense. Chelsea, I know, take it from someone who knows about defense. Yeah, my team set the record for defense in the Premier League. 15 goals conceded, I think it was, in 04-05 under Mourinho. We set the record for defense. That wasn't just down to Petr Cech. That was down to the entire defense being ridiculously good that season. Record-breaking good. So when Golden Glove's given, it has to come with the context of the defense also getting involved there. So if they're not given the credit, then hey, maybe just take away the defense and let the goalkeeper just make all the saves and see how that works out. See if he still gets the Golden Glove. And the same applies for goals. You know, Golden Boot. Striker gets the credit, but also, you know, the people that are creating the chances have to get the credit as well. If you don't create chances, you're not going to get any opportunities to score. So this is why I don't really go with the individual awards in football so much, purely because sometimes, you know, there's bias involved as well. You know, if it's player of the year for your club, fan-led, fans have their bias, all this kind of stuff. I personally feel like, for example, second player of the year for Mason Mount should have gone to a defender. But, you know, equally, it's just like in these awards as well, it's not really just about the striker. It's also about what's happening beyond that. All right. City aren't going for him. Oh, okay. Well, then why was that report put out? Because to be fair, I didn't just find that report anywhere. That was something that Fabrizio put out into the atmosphere. So I didn't just take that from any old journalist. That came from Fabrizio. If you're not going for him, then fair enough. I ain't even really spoken about it too much on this stream either, because it's not like you've put together an official proposal. It's just a player that we're targeted. You know, we've been targeting, apparently, reportedly, from Celta Vigo, and then you guys have registered your interest a couple of hours ago. 40 million euro release clause. If you're not actually going for him, fair enough. It was just a report. I think Fabrizio put out. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, I think Fabrizio put that out there not so long ago. If you're not going for him, then yeah, blame Fabrizio. It's nothing to do with me. I you know, that's what was put out earlier today. Yeah, here it is. Manchester City have entered the race for the Spanish talent after pulling out of the Declan Rice deal. He's one of the options now being considered at the club. Yeah, loose report, but still interest. Liverpool and Chelsea remain interested. City also informed. Maybe it's the agent. Again, with this player, again, I don't know how much it's us and you City, Liverpool, how much you're interested and how much is the agent trying to get him a move. He's got a release clause. Guys, don't you think it's worth it? He got all these goals in a cluster in a La Liga season, bunched them all together. You know, it looks decent package. What can you do for me? I wouldn't mind the little agent fee along with that. Agents, they play a dangerous game. Fabrizio has a lot of agents on his DMs constantly telling him information. This player's available. This club's interested. It's not a lie because it's coming from an agent, and obviously the agent knows the player potentially, but it could be a little bit fabricated, a little bit dramatized, a little bit overblown by the agent, because the agent is going to make money out of this situation. Agents are there to get their own players big moves and to also fill their pockets with agent fees. Also, big clubs give you big agent fees traditionally. So you're trying to get your player linked with that club. If you've seen your players had a nice cluster of 5, 6, 7 games in a row where they've blown up the statistics, you're going to try and engineer a move, especially if there's a release clause. That isn't a lot of money in today's market. So I'm quite skeptical on who's interested in which manager wants said player, when really Ornstein hasn't put it out yet. I know agents are all over Fab, and the club is yet to make an official proposal. So right now, it's a lot of agent talk. It's a lot of Fab talk. Let's see. Until somebody puts something out there that's concrete, it ain't really true. And if you're saying that City are not interested, then, or you're saying, you know, aren't going or they are going, listen, we shall see. If an official bid comes in, then we'll see. We shall see. Did I read it wrong? Okay, if I read it wrong and they're going for him, then cool. But until they put together an official proposal, it could even still be agent talk, because listen, you got to put a bid in for me if you're serious about any player, and there's no bid that's coming for this guy. Everybody's been talking about him for about a week or two. He's got a release clause. There's no bid yet, so let's see if a bid goes in. LJ Brown says, was the Rice a blessing in disguise? Because if we didn't get him, oh sorry, yeah, we've already read that one out. I'm just surprised Bayern or City or other big clubs never went in for Caicedo. I'm a little bit surprised as well, but listen, we need to get this deal done before somebody does come in. Bayern Munich are a strange one. They're trying to get involved in Premier League market at the moment. It's a strange one. I don't know, Bayern Munich. They're trying to go for Harry Kane. They're trying to go for, you know, Rice. It feels like they're out of their jurisdiction a little bit. Bayern Munich, their remit is going after Bundesliga talents. Cheap price, they monopolize that league. They get free agents from Dortmund, etc., and then they win the league and they move on. I'm not used to them coming in for Premier League players, especially Premier League players that are the high price point. You know, we're talking about Harry Kane's 100 million, Declan Rice 100 million. Usually, Bayern Munich don't operate with these fees. They don't usually have to. So I don't know what's going on over there. Tuchel maybe is pushing it because he's been managing in the Premier League and he knows now certain players he wants. Tuchel influence, no sporting director. They've just fired a bunch of people. Who knows? But money-wise, they're going to have to slump up some serious cash if they want to play in this Premier League market, because we don't play over here. Premier League don't play. You know, Aston Villa's, Bournemouth's, we don't play. Money. This is the money. This is the money team. Yeah, this Premier League is the money team. This is the land of money. Money grows on trees in the Premier League. So if you're going to come over here and take top players out of the Premier League, you better come with the big money. And I've never seen Bayern Munich play with this type of money before. So let's see if they're really going to get these deals done. Harry Kane, I still can't envision him in a Bayern Munich kit to this day. But listen, who knows? I'd be surprised if it happened personally. I think he's either going to stay at Tottenham. Maybe if Man United got their takeover done, they'd come in for him later in the window. Outside of that, I can't see too much more. Put some respect on Choupo-Moting. Exactly. Exactly. Point, case, and point right there. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Big up. It's been a great stream. Breaking news, and then the breaking of the breaking. Deal done. So that's great. Don't have to talk about him again because listen, I don't know him too much, and let's see what he does in preseason. That's the end of that. Let's move back to the first teamers. But yeah, big up your damn selves. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Smash up the likes. If something else breaks today, we will be there. Okay? Just know that if something else breaks today, we will be there. I will be there on here, live again. I'm more than happy to go 2 lives a day. If something is worth going live for, we'll go live. Okay? So just know that I'm willing to do the 2 lives a day. I'm ready to do the 2 lives a day. Plus a video as well at times, but we're ready. Okay, we're here. So if something happens, at me, Twitter me, tweet me, alert me, ASAP. Let me know if I need to be there. Okay, I'm back from New York now. I ain't playing. I'm here. I'm ready. So let's get it. All right, smash up the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Big up your damn selves as always, and we will be there. Okay, that's the motto for the rest of the window. We will be there. We will be there. Perfect.